Assalamu alaikum everyone. So this week we will continue with our lesson. It's gonna be about color pencil. I'm sure everybody is familiar with color pencils. Let's see what we can learn this week. So tip number 1, you have to make sure you have chosen the right color pencil. Usually we think that the expensive color pencils are the better, but that is not the case. I myself use Luna color pencil all the time, and the variety that I go for, or the choices I go for, is usually 24 colors or 36 colors, because they have a lot more colors there, a lot more options, so you don't have to mix the colors. You can straight away apply it. So some colors are creamier than the others, and some has a waxy outcome. When you apply it onto paper, if it gives you a shine, then the color pencil has a lot of wax in it. But if the color pencil doesn't have that waxy outcome, then it has a lesser wax. By the way, all color pencils are binded by wax, but what differentiates the expensive one and the cheaper one is the amount of wax that binds the color pencil. If you don't have that wax binding the color pencil, you won't have the colors that comes out from the color pencil itself as what you see or what you have experienced. By the way, you should not go for the cheapest color pencils as well, because it doesn't blend properly, and you will get frustrated when you try it out. Alright, so far these are the brands that is the best. Even I can't afford it. They sell it for more than 500 ringgit. So I will just stick to Luna. Unless you're a professional artist that uses color pencils and you can make some money out of your art using color pencil, I would suggest you buy that. But at the same time, if you are rich and want to invest in color pencils, go ahead with these. Alright, so there are 3 types of color pencils. One is wax based, the other one is oil based, and the other one is water soluble. Water soluble are the watercolor pencils that you always use. Most of us go for watercolor pencils because you can easily blend it when you apply the color pencil, and then you can easily blend it and you get a watercolor effect. But I want you to just go for wax color pencil. They are the most common type in the market. So tip number 2. Tip number 1 was choose a good quality color pencil. Tip number 2 is a good quality paper. You must use a good quality paper. Paper that has texture. Texture means surface, the feel of a surface. So papers that has surface or texture is hard to use color pencil with. When you apply the color, it doesn't go in. It doesn't sit in well with the paper. Right? The texture paper makes it hard for the color pencil to be absorbed. A smoother paper is the best to be used with color pencil. Alright, these are the textured papers. You see, when you apply it on, it doesn't sit well with the color pencil. In fact, the texture can be seen. So unless you want to apply or you want to do a textural artwork, you should not go for textured paper. Alright, these are the type of smooth paper. You see, these are pencils applied on smooth paper. So see how how smooth is it compared to the textural paper just now. You don't see the texture of the paper. Here you see some, because it's a medium surface, but with smooth surface you don't see any. Right, so go for smooth surface paper. Right, tip number 3 is to make sure your drawing is accurate. For you to achieve accuracy or proportionate, you have to use the grid drawing technique, right? But after a while, after you're familiar with the grid drawing technique, you can do away with it and just do a freehand drawing, right? So when you draw, make sure you keep the lines lighter. Remember, I taught you this when we did the drawing technique, right? Keep your lines light. And if the lines are made by pencil dark, then you may not be able to erase it when you apply color pencil. In fact, if the lines are dark and when you apply color pencil, the colors will mix with the pencil, graphite, and produce a quite dark or murky kind of colors, which you don't want. Right, tip number 4 is to always keep the tip of your color pencil sharp. Not only color pencil, even your pencil should be sharp when you're drawing. Right, when you get your color pencil sharp or pencil sharp, it's easier to get the details. And when you are layering or blending, it's easier to fill in the white bit of the paper. Your work also will look smooth. Right, tip number 5, layer your color. Right, if you don't layer, the artwork will look flat. What I mean is when the color is green and it's dark on the right side and light on the left side, so if you happen to apply just one color over it, your work will look flat, right? If you keep on applying different layers and make it even darker as you go on, you will see that the colors, or you will make the work look alive. And tip number 6, blend your colors if you're using a blending technique, right? Or else you will get a white grainy look because the paper will see through, right? You can use burnishing or colorless blender. For burnishing, you can use white color and apply with hard pressure on the colors. And these are colorless blender. When you apply it on, it will immediately blend. Alright, so down here is an example. This is just using color pencil without the blender, and this is with the blender. See how smooth it is? Now, tip number 7. Remember how when we did value, value is the light and dark of on the artwork, light side and the dark side. Alright, here also it applies to the color pencil. You must identify the darkest and the highlight area before you begin the process of coloring. And contrast here means the darkest and the lightest area should be defined in your work. If you don't get the dark enough or stark enough, and if you didn't get the highlight light enough, you won't get a realistic effect. Right, so it's important that you get your values right. You must have the darkest, medium, and then lightest value. Always remember that. Alright, and tip number 8, don't press your color pencil so hard. This goes to with pencil as well. When you press it really hard, when you add pressure, too much pressure, and let's say if you want to erase that, you will see the print of it on the paper. So when you erase and you apply color or pencil again, you will still see the imprint of the previous pressured paper. Alright, so make sure you really start with light color and apply the lightest color first with the lightest pressure, and then slowly build with dark layer. If anything goes wrong, then there is still chance for you to erase it. If you apply it too dark, then erasing it wouldn't make any difference. Alright, so that's it for how to use color pencil. Now let's move on